YouTubers, Matt M. Roy back once again, 2 o'clock here on Sunday, July 28th. Just got finished burning some discs to put into the Tahoe using some of these Memorex CDRs, which I'm not a huge fan of, but I got them really cheap from a thrift store, so they'll get the job done. Fun fact, these burnable discs that were supposed to last for like 100 years, we're now finding out only last maybe 5 or 10 years. The chemicals start to degrade on the disc, and that's pretty much all she wrote. All right, everybody. I want to start off this particular live stream by apologizing to one particular person, Hired Gun, the other day. I was partially out of line when it came to the live stream I did yesterday. And I say that because he had, for the second time, told me how to properly pronounce the name of my bike rack. And I kind of jumped down his throat a little bit. And if you're here, Hired Gun, I do apologize for that. I was just kind of really bummed out yesterday. Nothing really bad happened. He just had like one of those really, really bad days. And I'm kind of having one today too. But I'm not going to get into a huge discussion of what exactly is going on. It's nothing major. It's just mainly up here right now. So I see he is here. He says, dude, it's no problem. Water under the duck's bag, brother. Well, I thank you. I appreciate that. The reason I'm making this video is, I don't know if you guys have noticed, but maybe the last month or so on my channel, a lot of my videos have been getting multiple dislikes. I mean, I can actually go back into the, let's go back into my YouTube video log, the YouTube studio, I should say, and I'll give you an idea of what's actually going on here. YouTube studio, videos. I mean, to give you a good example, like a new toy, the one I did the other day, I think I wound up getting like 5 dislikes on that. The bike seat will save your rear end. That one I did about, when did I do that? The 3rd, so about a month ago. That one wound up getting about, well, let's see, 7 dislikes. Where was another real bad one here? The review of my Tahoe, well, 40 likes, 7 dislikes. I mean, that's not too bad. Thank you very much, Eric. Eric gave a $7 super chat. And I don't want you guys to think that I'm just on here trying to solicit money. That's not what I'm doing at all. I wanted to make this live stream because I want to see if you guys are having the same issues with your channels. And I know a lot of it has to do with trolls, and that's been a big problem recently on YouTube, not just on my channel, but if you look at the big guys out there, I'm talking about like Kid Behind the Camera, was it Logan Paul, Scotty Kilmer, all these really high tier YouTubers are having a lot of issues right now with trolls, spammers, whatever you guys want to call them. So let me know if you guys are having any issues on your channels. If you have a YouTube channel or you know somebody that has a YouTube channel, let me know if you guys are having the same issues, because it's really becoming a big problem. And I noticed that it's worse during the summertime. Now, I think some of that has to do with the heat. We all get kind of cranky when it gets hot out. I know I do. And it kind of makes people that have a bad personality, makes their personalities even worse. Hired Gun goes, my channel is more just a place to park songs and videos for my band's electric press kit. Yes, I was actually watching a couple of your videos the other day. I was really impressed. I mean, it amazes me the variety of channels and the variety of people that come to these live streams. I mean, that's really what makes this world go round. When you think about it, so many different people with so many different passions out there. It's absolutely amazing. Eric goes, I haven't had any real troll issues recently, but now that I've said something, I probably will. That was always my problem. I was always kind of a target for them because I would always call them out. I mean, when I was in school, I would get bullied a lot. I would call the bullies out, and yeah, they would pick on me more. But I guess in a way, it was kind of good because, it kind of took them away from other kids that might have been bullied. I guess it was better me get bullied than another kid who really couldn't take it. And finding out now later in life, I really couldn't take it mentally either, but that's conversation for another time. I don't know what's going on. Okay, I see it now. Storm Spotter. Yeah, I see you right there. We're not really talking about tech on this particular live stream. I don't mind maybe answering one or two questions, but I want to give everybody a chance to, this is what we call I'm not going to say the word, but a B session. And you guys probably know what I'm talking about. It's going to give me an opportunity to vent, maybe you guys an opportunity to vent, and maybe we can figure out some ideas on ways to maybe get the trolls out of our lives. Not necessarily just on YouTube, but in general. I'm doing all right, Tyler. It's been okay. Things have been a little slow. I've been trying to keep myself busy doing a lot of chores around the house, working on the Tahoe. I should have an update on the Tahoe for you guys maybe within a week or so. I wanted to do a few more things before I show it to you again. I mean, I did the review video, and I want to have enough done on there to where you're not going to get bored. You're saying, oh, well, he did two things. Why is he doing another video about it? So give me about another week or so, and I'll give you guys an update on that. But it's doing really well. The one thing mechanically that I had to do, and Eric, I think you mentioned this to me before, on the GMT 400s, especially the ones like mine with a 5.7 liter Vortec V8, I'm having the typical problem with where the idle air control valve is starting to go bad. And I know that's the issue because it'll run fine most of the time, but at certain points, like after it's been running and it's up to temperature, if I'm at a light, it'll start to run rough. That's one thing. Another thing is sometimes it's hard to start. Like if I go to start it, I actually have to give it a little gas or it won't actually fire. So I've done a lot of research, talked to quite a few people, and almost everybody's told me it's probably the idle air control valve. Yep, we're doing a live stream right now. Mom and Dad just got back from church. I didn't go this morning. I know. Bad, Matt, right? Yeah. It was maybe it was you, Tyler. I know one of you. The only two people that I know on YouTube that know a lot about the GMT 400 or the Chevy platforms are you and Tyler. Fuel pressure regulator. I did have somebody tell me something about that, and I have to try to figure out how to get that checked. You guys know I'm not great when it comes to mechanical things. I mean, I know enough to be dangerous in the automotive department. I'm starting with the pressure sensor or the idle air control switch because that's the cheapest and the easiest thing to do. It's literally like it was $10, and it's going to come in a couple of days, and it's two Torx bolts, and you pull it out and you put the new one in. So if that doesn't, I'm hoping that does the trick. If that doesn't do the trick, then I might look at what Tyler's saying, because I have heard that the fuel pressure regulator is another thing that can go bad on those. Eric says, put a fuel pressure gauge in line with the fuel filter, both before and after the filter. Okay, I'll have to look up how to do that, and I will. That'll probably be the next thing that I do. But again, it's not running that bad, and this problem is intermittent right now, so it's really hard to say definitively what it is. So again, I'm going to start with the easiest thing, which in this case is that idle air control switch, and then if that doesn't solve, then I'll go ahead and look at the fuel side of things. But it's very possible, and you got to remember something too. This Tahoe has 228,000 miles. It's got an aftermarket exhaust on it, which could also be the cause of some of the idling issues, because the fact that it's an aftermarket exhaust means it does not have a bank 2 oxygen sensor. In other words, the oxygen sensor that's normally where the catalytic converter is, it doesn't have it because it's aftermarket. So that in and of itself could cause a intermittent bad idle. So it may not be an issue at all. There might not be anything I can do about it, but again, starting with the cheap stuff. I'm going to move on from here because I'm getting caught in one mindset right now. Eric goes, if the fuel pressure drops after you shut it off, chances are the number 7 poppet is cracked. Again, you're talking gibberish to me. I'm like, again, I know enough to be dangerous when it comes to automobiles, but I really appreciate the information on this. As a matter of fact, what I'm going to do is save some of this because I know I'll be able to look it up later. And you guys are so good out there when it comes to automotive repair. Throttle, no, I doubt it's the TPS because, yeah, it's not throwing a code. The only code, believe it or not, the only code that it is throwing, and it is a 96, so it's OBD2, is the code for the oxygen sensor for bank 2. And again, it throws that code because there isn't one. I actually went under there and looked. There is no. When they put the aftermarket exhaust and they put an aftermarket catalytic converter, they replaced the whole thing, and they didn't put the O2 sensor there. So taking that into account, it's not really throwing any codes at all. So that's what was kind of weird. That's what's making me think that Eric might be right about it being an issue with the fuel system. They call the fuel injectors on this poppets. Oh, dang. I honestly did not know that. See, you learn something new every day. Eric, believe it or not, I'm actually saving a lot of your responses because, again, this is stuff I can look up later. And I'm learning. I'll be honest with you guys. I have no problem learning. Heck, I replaced the electric fan on our Lincoln Town car the other day. Pretty much gouged my arm up in the process, but that's the first time I've ever done anything like that. Mass airflow sensor, spray it with mass airflow sensor spray. Yeah, again, all great options, and I'm going to be saving a lot of these. Actually, what I did, I opened up WordPad, and I'm importing a lot of your comments into WordPad right now. And I actually started with the simplest things. What I actually started with was gum out, a little bit of gum out, and then seafoam to basically clean out the fuel system. And that has actually helped quite a bit. When I first got it, it was running rough pretty much on a regular basis. Now, I might get a rough idle once a day, if that. And again, it all may have to do with the fact that it's an older vehicle, and I'm not going to be throwing tons of money into this. Like, if it throws up a code every once in a while for something like an O2 sensor or something like that, honestly, I'll probably just leave it alone because at the end of the day, it's $1,000 vehicle. I don't expect it to run like a brand new SUV or a brand new car would, but I at least want it to be reliable because we do plan on taking this up to New York next month. And I want to make sure that at the very least I have a smooth idle and I don't have to worry about it stalling out. It just had a tune-up right before I got it, so new plugs and new wires. So I know that they're good there. But I appreciate it. I really appreciate your suggestion, Tyler. Well, it looks like everybody wants to talk about the Tahoe. Well, that's all right. I'm flexible. I don't have to stay on one particular subject. Other than that, everybody else doing okay. Oh, here I missed this one from Chet Boulay. Said trolls and bullies are typically that they have inner demons of their own and need to put others down to feel better about themselves. They also love getting responses and a rise out of their victims. Yeah, and I definitely give them that at times. And you know what? If it helps them, then you know what? Maybe I should allow certain people on here, but I can't let it get to me because that's what it's doing. Lately, I have been letting that stuff get to me again, and that's not healthy for me. So I need to take a stance on stuff like that. So remember that there are always going to be people out there that test your patience, people that want to get a rise out of you, people that have nothing better to do than to put you down. Again, just like Chet said, because they feel bad about themselves. Just don't let them hurt you emotionally or physically. Eric goes, laying here in the camper, I am glad I was smart enough to swing by and start the generator and AC before we went to lunch, so it is almost cool enough in here. Oh man, if you did this a week or two ago, it wouldn't have been. I know you even up in what, the say Delaware, New Jersey area, you've been suffering with the same kind of hot, humid temperatures we have. Checo's, good for you, Matt. Take a stance. Always put yourself first when you need and take a step back and do what you need to get yourself right. How anyone could have a problem with you is a mystery. Well, I have my moments, believe me. Those of you that have known me for any length of time personally know that. But at the same token, I can be a very giving person. I'm sure all of you can at times too. But yeah, there is a fine line because a good this rings true more and more as I get older, and I really wish it didn't. And the saying is, a good Samaritan is also a good doormat, and don't ever let yourself become a doormat. Do I mean never help anybody? No. If somebody really needs your help, by all means help them. You know, don't shut those people totally out of your lives, but don't let them hurt you to the point that you can't live a happy, healthy, and productive life. And that's all I really want to say about that, because we're on a fine line. We're in kind of a gray area right now, because I know people are going to start saying, well, Matt, the Bible says you should give unto others, you should do unto others you do to yourself. Well, yes, that's true. But a lot of people will try to use you and get as much as they can out of you. And then when they realize you've gotten to the point where you can't handle it anymore, they'll discard you, or you'll have to throw them out of your life because you can't take it anymore. And I've unfortunately had quite a few people do that to me, because Mom and I do like the charity cases. I'll be the first one to admit that. It's kind of a flaw, I think, in our family sometimes, that we always always look at the charity cases. And again, that's not necessarily a bad thing, but it is when it affects your life and your well-being. Karl Matt, did not know you had a YouTube site. Man, oh man, you in person and you look so good, buddy. So proud of you, Karl. Awesome. I apologize. I am not exactly sure which Karl you are, because I do know quite a few Karl. So if you want to elaborate on that, I'm sure I'll be able to figure it out. Brad Smith, Matt, what game got you into PC gaming? I hope some of you guys are old enough to remember this. Commander Keen. The original Commander Keen for DOS. We're talking about, well, it was Commander Keen 4, actually, Goodbye Galaxy, Chapter 4. So that would have been around 1991. The first ones came out, I think, in 89 or 90. But that whole series is what really got me into computer gaming. And if I go before, I can go a little bit earlier than that. And it was the Learning Company, the Super Solvers games like Midnight Rescue, Treasure Mountain. but those are more like learning. I don't consider those like true like side scrolling action adventure games. Those were more learning games. So if we're talking about like childhood games, then those were the learning company games. But anything close to my adulthood, it would have to be Commander Keen. How many of you out there remember the original Commander Keen games for DOS? I'm not talking about the one they put out back like in 2005. We're talking about early 90s gaming. Hired Gun said, I find trolls are usually insecure children or adults with no capacity to perform socially. Well put, my friend. Absolutely. People that just can't do well in social situations or don't do well in social situations, and they hide behind a computer or in the past a phone, anything to where they don't have to come face to face with people. And to be honest with you, I have wrestled with those demons in the past myself. I am not the most socially accepted person. I can be very socially inept at times. I mean, I don't always seem it here, but that does happen to me. And so I kind of do feel for them. But at the same time, I would never put somebody down because they had a disability. That's just not me. Pradkins, like Grand Theft Auto 5. I never played Grand Theft Auto 5. The only Grand Theft Auto I ever played was Vice City back on the PlayStation 2. And honestly, I hardly ever did the campaigns. I usually just rode around and crashed my car into things because, heck, at that time I was in high school, and I just thought it was fun. It actually helped me release some pent-up anger from the day. Andre Mallory asks, how are Milo and Baxter? Fat and lazy. And I am not kidding. Those cats are eating like crazy, but they won't eat their treats, which I guess is kind of a good thing because the treats aren't really good for them anyway. I don't know where this is. What is it? 2:30. They're probably fast asleep right now, but they're good. They're doing well. Hired Gun says, I had it on an old 386. Okay. I can beat you though. I was playing Commander Keen back in the day on a custom built, not by me, but a custom built 286 10 megahertz system that had, I think it did have a VGA card. It did. It wasn't super VGA, but had a VGA card, maybe like 2 megabytes of RAM, not gigabytes, 2 megabytes of RAM, and like a 20 megabyte hard drive. I wish I still had that, honestly. I went through a phase where I threw everything out that I wasn't using, and a lot of my old computer equipment went with it. I threw away my Tandy 1200 HD. I threw away that computer. I threw away some other 386s I had. It's not a time in my life that I really like to talk about, but it was something that I had to do at the time to basically wipe the slate clean and start over again. Carl Octave, Matt, do you fix phones? I actually don't. I'm asking because motherboard on my old Nokia Lumia 920 is damaged. The people at Ubreak Fix said it can't be fixed. I don't fix phones. True story, about 3 or 4 years ago, I had a bacterial infection which damaged my 7th cranial nerve and also damaged my bursa sac and a few other nerves in my shoulders. And it actually caused me to lose sensation through my ulnar nerve and basically the palm, this side, and these 2 fingers on both hands. It took about a month and a half to 2 months for me to get the feeling back in my hands, and I did get the feeling back. But what I didn't get back was the dexterity, which means I can't really move my fingers as well as I used to. I'll give you an example. I can't even do things like this. Like most people can put one finger down at a time without moving their other fingers, and I can't do it. And that all stems from that incident that I had. So probably, honestly, will never be able to do a lot of intricate work anymore. But I really have a lot of respect for people that do, because it is hard work. Andre Mallory, what is your favorite Italian dish? Oh, that's easy. eggplant parmesan, and it's the eggplant parmesan. It has to be fresh. When I lived in New York, our neighbor, her aunt, I think it was at the no, her cousin had a vegan slash vegetarian restaurant in Queens. And we didn't live in the city. We were about an hour away from the city. But I remember going down there, and I think it was called Mama Leone's. And I tried the first eggplant I ever ate and the first vegetarian lasagna I ever ate. Two different times I had the two different dishes. And ever since then, I've been hooked on eggplant parmesan, but it has to be fresh. If I go to a restaurant and I order eggplant parmesan and it's frozen, in other words, they made it from frozen eggplant, I can tell, and I'll send it right back. Hired Gun goes, LOL beats the CG I had on my old IBM. Yeah, our Tandy 1200 HD had CGA graphics. I really wish I still had that computer. And the reason I threw it out is because it had a 20 megabyte MFM hard drive that at the time I didn't know enough that one day I went to power it up and the hard drive wouldn't move. And I was like, oh, it's dead, throw it out. Well, come to find out, that was a common problem with those MFM hard drives, had stiction issues, and there were ways you could fix them. You could actually lubricate the stepper motor, and you could get them working again. And I was just too young and stupid at the time to know that. And it is what it is. Can't cry over spilled milk. Well, you can reminisce, but you can't go revisit the past, unfortunately. And you really shouldn't, to be honest with you. What do we got? 13 watchers and 10 likes. That's awesome. I didn't actually think I'd get that many people here today. Stephen Barber, I think my Dell SS2240M monitor is dying. Oh, well, I'm going to get a HP Omen 32-inch. Yeah, they don't make anything to last anymore. I remember when LCD monitors first came out. I mean, I know people that are still rocking the old Gateway 15-inch LCD monitors from like 2000, 2001, and they're still going strong. Yet I can't get a modern LCD monitor or TV to last more than 5 years without the inverter board going bad or, just conking out. But it's usually the inverter board that goes bad in those. You added one too many S's. Yeah, I knew what you were talking about. It's a 24-inch monitor, isn't it? S2240. Yeah, it's got to be a 24-inch. The jet engine MFM. Yeah. Well, I'm talking specifically about the MFM hard drives, and those things were notorious for stiction problems. They were reliable other than that. But what would happen is from what I understand, I've never taken one apart, the head would actually stick to the platter and it would prevent it from moving. So what you could do is you could manipulate the stepper motor and usually free it. And then what you could do is if you lubricated the stepper motor, it would give the stepper motor more power, and then that would prevent the head from actually making contact and sticking to the platter. That was one problem. Another issue is just the stepper motor sometimes would seize up themselves. All right, tubers, I'm going to have to end this live stream here. Mom and Dad just got home. I need to go ahead and show her what I did in the other room, something that I want to show you guys too, because we finally had to replace the speaker system in the den, which I was using an old Altec Lansing, I think it was. Yeah, Altec Lansing computer speakers in there, like a 2.1 channel. And we were watching Stranger Things the other day. And, if you guys ever watch that show, they have the intro music. Do-do-do, 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 do, boom. Well, I wound up blowing the speaker, so I had to make other plans. And it took me about an hour to put together what I did today. And I'm pretty proud of it. I think it came out really well. All right, tubers, enjoy the rest of your weekend. And as always, have a blessed day, everybody.